Hello, welcome to Let's Talk Taxes Tuesday. I am Nafisa Manira, your tax attorney CEO, who does what? Who rescues businesses and individuals with tax debt, consults on tax representation cases, and trains the next generation of attorneys and CPAs who specialize in tax representation. Welcome. I hope everyone is doing great today on this Tuesday, wherever you are in whatever city you're in. I hope you're having a fantastic Tuesday. So, today on Let's Talk Taxes Tuesday, what we want to talk about is the title today is Chaos equals cash flow. The IRS is shaking up 2025 by opening doors for tax representation professionals. It's like, what are we talking about, Nafisa? Okay. What if I told you that the IRS latest shakeup could be the biggest cash flow opportunities for tax professionals in over a decade? That's not just hype, it's strategy. The IRS is they're basically revamping. They're basically revamping all their computer systems, right? And keep in mind, I don't know if y'all know this, but the IRS has many outdated computer systems. Matter of fact, with the recent audits that have taken place by the GAO and others, they have found that the IRS has more than 344 different computerized systems, right? 344. And that's not even talking about what the real deal is. Here's the real catch. They're not integrated. Now you would think that 344 different computerized systems that they would be talking to each other. No, these are not the majority of these systems are not integrated. They're old, they're outdated. Most of them are more than 25 years old. In fact, a lot of them, or the majority of them, have been around since the 1970s and were written in a computer language which most people no longer use now, COBOL. Most people don't even use this computer language. So this is something that is going to be very interesting. Now the IRS has decided that they want to modernize their system. They're kind of slowly been on this journey, but now they're really starting to ramp up their whole modernization of these computerized systems to not only have fewer systems, but have them more integrated. Right now, they have a different system for processing individual tax returns and taxpayer information, a different system for businesses, a different system for estates and trusts, different systems for all these different categories, and none of them are talking to each other, right? So that's what this modernization effort is all about. And also keep in mind, what does all this modernization mean? What does all this scrambling around for modernization really mean for us as tax attorneys, as CPAs who specialize in tax representation? At the end of the day, it means stress for our clients, stress for taxpayers, but opportunity for us. We get to be our client's hero because we get to explain and sort out the mess, right? We get to explain and sort out all the confusion that's going to be taking place. There's going to be a lot of mistakes that's going to be made, a lot of disruption that is taking place, a lot of delays that are taking place in this whole transition of moving these outdated systems into a more modernized type of systems. There are going to be a lot of errors that are going to be taking place. So this is bad news for taxpayers, but great news for us because, again, we get to be the hero and we get to sort out this mess for our clients. Great news for us, right? The second thing we want to talk about is not just what is happening, but we also want to make sure that we're talking about Wait a minute, hold on. I got my little notes here. Oops. I'm sorry about that, you guys. But I got my notes and I want to make sure that I don't miss anything that I wanted to cover with you guys. Okay. Now, when we were talking about this legacy system about the IRS, the name of the system was the IDRS, which basically stand for the Integrated Data Retrieval System of the IRS. And as I said before, this was established back in the 1970s, and they are still running these types of computer systems. And part of the challenges that they're having in terms of trying to modernize all this stuff is, number one, find software engineers, programmers who still deal in this COBOL language, right? So that's part of the challenge that they're having. Also, they're going to have the challenge of cybersecurity, the challenge of transparency. All this is going to affect the what's really going on with the IRS, right? And this whole modernization effort. So that's kind of the gist of what is happening. We might want to look at why it's happening, because they, like I said before, they've been slowly on this journey trying to modernize. But what has made them kick it into gear is all the controversy around DOGE, right? The Department of Government Efficiency, and their access and trying to get access to the IRS and IRS taxpayer information. And also the Department of Homeland Security and their access. So there is a lot of controversy around this, because this is dealing with legal rights and privacy laws, right? That the IRS had these particular laws and said that they limited access to taxpayer data unless it was for something to resolve the taxpayer's issue, or if there was, like, maybe a criminal matter or something like that. Okay. So all the controversy around these legal and perceived privacy breaches has really put the computerized systems on the forefront, these legacy old systems on the forefront. And now the IRS is really starting to kick into gear on trying to modernize these particular tax systems. Okay. And what they ultimately want to do, again, is merge all these systems so that they talk to each other, particularly in the customer service. Now, you didn't realize, even though we as tax attorneys and CPAs, we have what's called a practitioner priority line. But when you talk about the IRS and their regular customer service and their employees that service that line, these employees have to go through anywhere from 10 to 15 different systems in order to be able to access taxpayer information that clients may be calling about. Right? So part of this modernization effort is being able to merge and integrate these various different computerized systems so that they all talk to each other, and merge these computerized systems that deal with some of the same type of categories, merge them. Because while we have a separate computerized system for individuals than we have for business, and they don't talk to each other, makes no sense, right? So this is part of their whole revamp process that they're going through. And so with that said, we talked about what is happening. We talked about why this is happening. Let's look at, why does this chaos equal cash flow? Well, as I mentioned before, there are going to be a lot of disruption. There's going to be a lot of errors. And at the same time, as they move more to automation, they're going to automate a lot of the flagging different taxpayers, right? Not only for precision, but also using these computerized systems for predictability, right? Predictability in terms of, oh, this taxpayer may have violated, or these deductions may not be real, or they might have unreported income, right? So using it for that sense. Now, sorry about that, y'all. Typical errors. Anyway, so this is that because of this chaos, this leads to opportunity for us to come along and sort this out. This means there's going to be an increase in notices to go out that are incorrect. And so we're going to have to resolve a lot of these errors and these notices that come out that's incorrect for our clients. That means more opportunity for us to not only help our clients, but guess what? To make more money, make more increase our income, right? Now, some tax pros are going to sleep on this, but I hope you're not one of them, right? This is how this chaos can lead to cash flow. Now, next, let's look at where is the opportunity. Well, most tax professionals they are trained in compliance, and then you have several that are trained in planning and projections. Most tax professionals are not trained in collections. They're not trained in conflict resolution. They're not trained in tax debt representation. So this means that there's an opportunity that's widening, that's opening up for you to get trained as a specialist in this area and for you to revamp your skills in this area so that you are able to handle those. And not only that, market yourself as a professional who specializes in tax debt representation to be able to solve these clients for all these taxpayers out there. Now, you will be able to up-level your skills so that you'll be able to remove those wage garnishments that may be erroneously applied to your client. Remove some of those liens that may be erroneously applied to your client, right? And at the same time that you're doing this, you're building credibility, right, in the industry, and credibility and trust with your client. So this IRS shakeup is going to be your entry point if you're not already in the tax representation field. Okay? And keep in mind, this is a separate service. This is a separate service. And so the question is, are you going to position yourself to take advantage of the opportunity and service your clients? Let me give you something that you can do this week. So to get this week, what you can do to start to get ready for all this is about to happen is, number one, you can start to shift yourself to position yourself from I do tax preparation, or I do taxes, or I do tax planning, to no, I solve tax problems. See, the shift in language shifts how people see you. Not only that, you can also, the second thing that you can begin to do this week is sharpen your tools. Learn real world tactics of solving your clients' problems. Learn about offering compromise, currently not collectible, innocent spouse, injured spouse. What's the difference between these two? Learn about how you can use bankruptcy to resolve some of your clients' debt. Learn about penalty abatement. So this is a great time, what you can do this week to begin to study this and up-level your skills in this area. And you can begin to market yourself to the pain that your clients and potential prospects is going to have by telling them, hey, you got an IRS notice? You don't understand? I can fix that. All right? So you can begin to start to market this week just that simple statement. putting that out on your social media, putting that out in your communication. There's three things that you can do this week, right? And this is not about you having a big name in this particular industry um, or because you don't work at the big firms. No, you can do this yourself, just in terms of just getting started. And that is going to be how you take this chaos and turn it into cash flow. So as we wrap up here, just remember that the IRS is shifting, the industry is shifting, and you can choose if you want to stay stuck or if you want to come on board and step into a new power lane of tax representation. So don't just be a tax pro, be a tax professional who solves clients' tax debt problems. All right? So hey, if this particular topic resonated with you, if I resonated with you, then go ahead and like my channel, comment below. And you can always, if you want to reach me, contact me at taxroadmapusa.com, right? You can follow me on YouTube and Nafisa Manira. You can also follow me on Facebook. Yes. And I hope this information was beneficial to you. And till next time, I hope to see you next time for the next episode of Let's Talk Taxes Tuesday, where I'm here every Tuesday trying to give you the tax representation news, tips, trends, and what's actually going on. My name is Nafisa Manira. Till next time, bye.